Hey everyone, this is David Garcia, Digital David G, with Jennifer. She's not here with me, but Jennifer with Thumbprint Collective. She came to me and said, "Hey, you know what? We want to be able to give folks a brand audit, show you guys what we do on the back end, behind the scenes, behind the curtain, what we look at with assessing the health of a brand, the visibility of a brand." How to get sales, all that good stuff. So that's what we're going to do here. It might get a little bit in the weeds, very technical. I'm just going to go through the normal things that I would look through, that I usually look through. And if you guys have any questions, definitely let us know, and we'll go from there. For this audit, we have the Goddess Shop. The Goddess Shop is a female wellness brand, and so they do have a few products. They are pretty big on social media, I would say, and so we're just gonna jump right on in. First things first, want to go on their site. Definitely the image is one of the first things I see. Definitely have a better quality image. Is number one. Is very easy to change. So that's one thing I would do. Really good that we have. I normally would not want a product to be front and center, but after looking through the data, this product is number one selling product, so it does make sense in this case to have it here. So I really like that it's here front and center. Again, with the image, I would change this image here. Especially with products like this, it's in the category of what we call YMYL, your money or your life. Anything that has to do with your money, with your life, with health, that kind of stuff. Normally with any brand or product, you want to have good photos, but especially in this area, you want to be able to have really, really good photos, because the slightest thing, people will think to say, well, that's lower quality. So this is fine, but just I would recommend being a little bit more conscious about a perfect picture. So the cloth that it's on, I would probably have it on a white background or a black, whatever it is that comes across a little bit more professional. Not saying it's going to be the end of the world, but it just helps with some folks. I like having this is pretty much being pulled in from your product information. I like the information here. I'll go into that in a bit when I get to the product page. This section here is great. What I would rather see here, because it's the homepage, I'd rather see posts, and I believe these are posts or collections. I'd rather see content around why, what is this, who are we, just informational stuff, educational stuff, so that folks can say, great, this is something as they get here for the first time, before you can even sell them on these items, they need to understand who you are. Do I trust you? Do I trust what you're selling me? Because it is something that I'm putting in my body. It is something I'm wearing. And so that is important. So I'd rather see that up front. And then I see these products here at the bottom. That's fine. This is something I really liked. User generated content, UGC. You want to create this fear of missing out, right? Wow, all these people. There's 681 reviews on here. There's so much. So many, 4 or 5 and 5 stars. What are they experiencing that I'm not? So I really like this here, and having it go through. I would probably say might be better testing this out to be further up on the page, because oftentimes people will kind of get to a certain part of the page and say, you know what, I'm not interested, I'm going to leave. So having this not be front and center, but a little bit past the fold of the page, and the fold is like when you first load the page, the line at the bottom that you have to scroll through. I would probably have this here, so that folks can see that there's 681 reviews. I might go a step further in saying that you would, if you don't already, I didn't see if you did, have a page for just for reviews. I did notice you have, an Etsy shop, you have Instagram, Facebook, all these different areas where they do have reviews on there. So again, having that user-generated content, I want to be able to see that there's so many people out there that have used this product that are saying this is amazing. I would recommend it to everyone else. That type of stuff, it speaks volumes. It's not just you, it's not just your brand saying things, it's actually actual people out there. So that actually goes a long way. The images, I love this image here. It goes along with kind of what you're trying to get across here, the female orgasm and being able to squirt. This is great. I really like it. So again, going off of those images is really helpful. I'll go back to this. A big part of this space that you're in, this niche, it's what marketers call pokers, porn, and pills. Generally speaking, platforms out there like Google, Facebook, Instagram, any advertising platform, they usually make it harder for any of these brands to show up. Not saying that they're bad, but because there's so much out there that they don't know whether it's good or bad. They want to kind of shy away, or really it's a way to protect themselves because they don't want folks to buy something and then it just doesn't work. Not saying it's bad, but it just might not work. The reality is that a lot of these products, and I've been on many brands that are in this space, it might just not work for that person, or the dosage is too small, or they need to try another variation. So that's why they're very cautious about this stuff. And so, you see things out there all the time with like male enhancements, and in this case, the female body. You use imagery like this to get your message across, and so that's definitely something you want to be doing. The other day, I saw an ad for male enhancement. It wasn't male enhancement. It was like the package kind of leans to the side. And so they use a carrot. They used a carrot that was kind of lopsided, and that type of imagery. You're getting the message across without saying exactly what it is, and we all know what they're talking about. This image is a great example. So keep that in mind as you're going through creating these images. If you can do the same thing that you're doing here with other images, that would be amazing. I like this here. A lot of this, getting customers to be able to understand what you're doing, educate them, and push them down in the funnel. When I talk about funnels, what I mean is you have a funnel, just like any funnel you can imagine. At the top, you have a lot of people, right? Thousands of people are getting to your homepage. They don't know who you are, and they want to know what are you about? Is it something I'm interested in? So what I see a lot of brands doing is just sell. I want to, everything on their Instagram, everything on their site is just buy my product. What I like to tell folks is, think about it as when you're dating, right? You wouldn't go on the first date and say, hey, do you want to go have sex? Do you want to go get married? That probably wouldn't go over too well. You want to be able to warm them up to it. And so content like this, educational content, stuff that tells them more about who you are, what you stand for, what you do, it warms people up to getting excited about the next step. So really like this stuff. And I also saw it through your socials as well. Subscribing to a newsletter. This is huge. I would include an offer here. Email by far, by various channels. So there's organic search, there's paid ads, there's other marketing channels that we have, social media. As a channel, it performs by far, generally speaking, across all different niches and industries. it performs by far better than others in converting users. So conversion is, a sale, a sign up, whatever that might be. And so why? Because people have already, said, hey, I'm willing to enter in my email so that you can send me information, and I'm willing to do that. So just the fact that someone entered in their information, now it's not their address, it's not their private information, but just the fact that someone's willing to do that, they trust you enough to be able to give you that information. So just based off of that, the conversion rates are a lot higher in email. So you're going to want to really push hard on email /SMS. So sending text out. Some folks want to get emailed. Some folks would rather get a text message. I would argue that you should look into doing both. I would just test things out. I would give folks the option. Do you want to get email? Do you want to get text? A barrier to entry for this niche and brand might be the fact that I don't want to get an email that says, hey, improve your sex life if my partner is right next to me, or get a text that says, hey, there's these pills just went down, and for them to say, hey, what's that? Or my mom is next to me, right? And so there is that bit of it. If you are going to, and I would highly recommend going with email and SMS and giving them the option, I would think about what that looks like, and maybe give options for folks to say, hey, you can hide it. And again, I don't know if it's an issue, how big of an issue it is, but I would imagine for some folks it would be an issue. I'm not sure if I'm going to get ads. I'm not sure if I'm going to, what does that look like? And so this isn't like, buying a car or something. You don't mind if there's ads all over the place. And so there might be that hesitancy to give you my email address because I'm not sure what you're going to send me. And so maybe easing that mindset might be a little bit easier. So if on this, or when you have a pop-up and say, we're not going to do this, we are going to do this, that'll maybe help folks with that process. Again, I love this type of content, types of 10 intimate acts that don't involve penetration. This is all good. It's not selling. It is being thoughtful about your messaging, what you're trying to get across. You're trying to educate. You're trying to help folks understand that these products that you're selling, it's not the end all be all. It's a portion of the overall experience that that you're trying to get folks to understand. So I really like this here. So that's that. I'm going to go to the product itself. So I like that you have it up here front and center. What I would rather see, in addition to this, what I would like to see is a bestsellers section here. The problem, not only with this niche, but with other businesses, is the issue of choice. If I give you too many options, it's like, where do I start? What do I do? Sex isn't something that people talk about too much. Depends on your circles, of course. And so making it easier for people to understand that, hey, you know what? If this is your first time here, this is a bestseller. This is flying off the shelf. This is what people are looking for. I might even say it might be good to have like a quiz. What type of person are you? Are you very sexually active? Are you not? What are those things who are you? Because there's different types of people. If they're shy, if they're, whatever that looks like, then that'll help kind of lead them into the products that they're trying to buy. If someone doesn't normally take pills, if someone normally doesn't take a daily vitamin, it's probably going to be hard for them to take any of these pills. So starting them off with a ebook, a guide, something like that to educate them on what they're getting might help them push them down the funnel. So let's go over to the product page here. I like this, like I mentioned earlier, I like all this information. What I would like to see, and I'm going to go over to a product that I saw, a brand that I saw. Let me open this up. So MDNA. This may or may not be a brand that I worked on. This is Madonna's brand. She has a couple of skin toning products here. So if I go to any of the products here, the sections are pretty clearly outlined. So what it is, this is great. How to use the routine. And I think the reason I chose this is because it's very similar to what you have going on here. So the routine, and I would say, do you take this every day? Is it every so often? Is it right before you want to have sex? Like, what does that look like? I'm talking about the pills, but there's other products on there, obviously. But you want to do the same thing. This isn't just a one and done. I take it once and that's it, or I wear something one time and I don't wear it again. It's something that you want to let folks know that this is something that you want to do on a regular basis, or I would hope on a regular basis. So having this being clearly outlined is, I think, very, very, very helpful here. Great. I'm going to go over to your Instagram. I really like your feed. This is great. Again, I get the theme of you're not trying to push too much. There are a few posts with the products in there, but you also have other posts that kind of educate, memes. This is great. I really like all these things. I will say that going through your feed, I do think there's an opportunity here for you to be able to be as front and center as you would like to be. I think there's a post down here. I think this one was really good. And there was another one, this one. Looking through the comments, folks said, I love seeing you. I love your kind of vibe, all that good stuff. So if you're comfortable, I would say be a little bit more. I would like to see more posts of you on here. Reels do really well. And also what the reason for that is folks, because it's about their life and their body and something that they're taking, they don't want to just associate the products that they're buying with just the products, but who is actually selling them. So this is an opportunity for you or people close in your circle to be that face of the brand and say, hey, look, I'm educated on this. I know whether you're certified. What does that look like? Because you want to be able to transfer that trust in you over to your products, right? So the products that I carry, the services that I have, you are transferring that trust, right? By folks seeing you, by hearing you talk about different things, the maybe struggles that you've gone through or that other folks that have gone through, and the benefits of these products and services. That's in a sense selling, but it's selling in a different way. It's in a subtle way. It's in a real way. And so having that be front and center would, in my opinion, be really good. So it's something that I would at least test. Again, I love all this content here. I like that there's different versions, different types of content. There's posts, there's memes, there's, I like this one here. So all this stuff is great. I would just say test including yourself a little bit more in this content. And then also because platforms like ads are a little bit harder to use with your marketing. I think you told me in your in your info that you sent over that it's a little hard having ads show. And that's normal in this niche. Platforms, you mentioned the littlest thing, they'll like turn off your ads, they'll turn off your account. And so I will want to lean heavily on socials, user generated content, have folks out there try your brands, comment on it, create a reel. One thing that we're seeing very big in recent months or years is leveraging your followers, leveraging your customers that are already purchasing this hey, if you know that there's a certain, short list of users who love this product, they follow your brand, this is amazing, I want more. They're total brand advocates. Reach out to them and say, hey, or maybe either them or everyone that's following you, and say, hey, there's a challenge or there's a campaign that I'm running on. Whoever has the most compelling reel or video or review, whatever one gets the most engagement, figure out what that looks like. I'm going to give them a year's worth of pills, or a year's worth of different products or lingerie or whatever that may be. See what you think is going to be valuable for folks. And then you end up having folks creating content for you, right? They get something. Obviously, you need to make that offer really stand out, something that's worth doing. And instead of you being the only person creating this content, now you have tens of or thousands of people making this content, and it's going out there. Again, I would rather see that content be less selling the product and more just kind of having fun. And I would say challenge them to be more on the creative side. I'm sure everyone hates folks that say, this is amazing, buy this product, like a cheap infomercial. That's not what we want. We want it to come off more natural, because people can see right through it when they're, being fake and just trying to peddle the product and the brand. So that's something that I would look into. Your Facebook, I think it needs a little bit more work, and I get it. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to go on Instagram than on Facebook. I do see a lot of activity and reviews on Etsy. I'll go through that in a bit. On Google, but there definitely is an opportunity on Facebook. What I would say is, if you're willing to start a Facebook group, I think that's an area to grow into. It goes along the lines of educating folks. If you have a Facebook group where you just talk about sex, right? You talk about being intimate. You talk about issues that folks have, the headspace that they're in. There's so many things that go along with wellness. It's not just about sex, right? I know this is a health and wellness brand, and we're doing this, but what are the steps that people need to do to get to that point where they're willing to buy, sage or oils or pills or quartz, before they even make that decision of, I would like to look into buying this. They need to be in the right space to say, this is something that I believe I should be doing. And so building a Facebook group, being active in that space, having a space where women can feel comfortable talking about whatever they have going on. Oftentimes, not just women, it's men also. We have this friction of, I don't know who to go to. Do I go to my sister? Do I go to my mom? Do I go to my partner? And so sometimes, not always, it's helpful going to complete strangers strangers, right? I would like to be able to see a Facebook group or a space where people feel comfortable going to folks, where they don't have to worry about being laughed at or being looked at like, wait, you're doing that? Or that's a question that, I'm not sure I would have expected from you. Somewhere where they're not being judged. And so, again, this whole thing that I'm trying to get across is, you want to be able to instill trust in folks, confidence that it's a safe space, that they can trust in you. And so that's something that I think would be beneficial for the brand here. All right. I know I'm at 24 minutes, so I'm going to go through analytics. So here we have Google Analytics. What I did is I pulled back. I think you started your tracking in January of last year, of this year. So in Google Analytics, this is great that you're at least tracking Google Analytics. There's many brands that I see that don't track anything. And so that's something that we want to be able to see. There is an issue here where I do see other. I'll get to that in a bit. First things first, you want to make sure that your numbers are looking good, because otherwise you can't make a decision if the numbers aren't looking good. And so this is the first thing that I do whenever I look at brands is I use numbers to tell me what to do. I don't just pull it out of thin air. And so this is an area that I want to look into. So we don't have e-commerce tracking set up. That's definitely something that we want to do. If we would see these numbers in here. We would see sales coming in from Shopify over to analytics. And what that does is it shows me, acquisition, here's this bucket, behavior, here's this bucket, and then conversions or sales, there's this bucket. So you can see how we went from getting traffic or users to how they behave on my site to what they're converting, what they're buying, all that good stuff. So because we don't have the conversion data, we kind of have a blind. It's a blinder. I can't really see what's happening. And so what that tells me is, great, other is 35% of traffic. Direct is the 30%. Organic is 18%. So this gives me an understanding of where that traffic is coming from. And then I want to know, well, sure, that's good, but how good is the quality of traffic? If I were to tell you that I can get you 23,000, 20,000 users, your next question would be, well, how good of a quality of traffic is that? Is it, people who don't have any interest in buying this product? Then that doesn't really matter. So looking at items like bounce rate, pages per session, average session duration, this helps a little bit with understanding how interested are folks in this. So we can see where these numbers break down. The lowest bounce rate. Now, bounce rate is when someone gets to a page and then leaves right away. They don't go to a next page. And so you want to have a bounce rate be relatively low. And so referral traffic as a channel performs best with bounce rate. Now, direct is there as well as email. So that is something that you want to take a look at in looking at your sources. And the question that I have here in this stage is, which traffic is better? Would I rather have 20,000 of these users or 10,000 of those users? Again, it all depends on how they interact with the brand. And ultimately, what I would like to see is conversion rate. Conversion rate is critical in understanding how many more users do I want? How much am I willing to pay for those users? So this helps understand the different marketing channels: organic search, social, email, paid search. Ultimately, if I bring you millions of people, but the conversion rate is super low, then that's low quality users. I'm not interested in getting millions more. It doesn't matter because the quality is low. So this is what we're talking about as far as conversion rate. So knowing that data, which isn't here yet, will definitely help us out. When we go to other, I want to investigate this a little bit more. I want to see what's happening. So I see Google is popping up. I want to know if this is organic or something else. So what I'm going to do is go to source medium, and it's going to tell me Google product sync. So this probably has to do with a product feed that you have going on. Maybe you were having a Google Merchant Center or something. So I'll look for that resource and send it over so that you can clean that up. Again, it's not the end of the world. The data is at least here, but being a marketer and looking at the right numbers, you want to make sure that the numbers are clear so that you can make the right decisions on things, and you're not making any mistakes. So that's what we want to do here. All right. I think that is essentially it. I'm going to go through some takeaways here. So there are a few roadblocks that I can see possibly being, and I would just kind of raise them and see what you have going on here. So in regards to communication, I would challenged to see what you think or what your users think as far as, does it matter? Is it a big deal about being discreet with the comms that you send across? So emails, SMS messaging, packages being mailed. Like maybe they don't want to know that anything is coming from anywhere. So I would do some research on that, ask a few friends, ask a few clients, and see what they think, and then see if it's a big deal. If people say, you know what, maybe I can see that being an issue, then it's something that you should at least look into and having a page up. Education is big. We want to be able to work on that top funnel, educate folks, tell them what's happening, what we're doing, the benefits, all that good stuff, so that people can make a choice and be able to buy. Social proof and fear of missing out. This is huge. I think you're doing a good job right now. It could be better of showing social proof. What I would do is grab any tags that they have of you on Instagram, any social media. I think I saw a few some content on there with influencers or just people that are out there speaking about your products, your brand. I would definitely, include that in product pages. You can embed that content onto those pages, and that speaks volumes about what your brand is. People want to be able to see other folks, not you, not your brand, talk about your brand, and including that is creating this FOMO, this fear of missing out. So I think that's definitely key. So I talked about e-commerce tracking. We'll send you resources to be able to track that, and that'll be key. We want to push hard in socials. I think especially because socials have the chance to go far and wide. Definitely better than paid ads. You could do paid ads, but like I mentioned, obviously you're paying for it, and you have to be very careful in what you say and how you say it. And so I think a better avenue is using socials. It's free, quote unquote free. It's a lot easier, in my opinion, right now with your brand and your niche. So it's something that I would rather you look into, building social media campaigns every month, every so often, giveaways. We want to see what that looks like, so that folks can be able to be challenged creating that content and helping the brand ultimately. Let's see. I talked about your money, your life. So I'm just looking at notes here. Facebook group and offer. You want to be able to build a community around this. It's not just buying a product once. It's being present in this space, following not only you but the community that you're building. I think that's very important. I talked about a sign-up email offer. That email offer needs to be solid. Again, email is going to be able to convert folks a lot easier than other channels. So you want to get them into your email, you want to get them to give you your email, and then you want to follow up with different variations of that. I would like to see this brand have a lot of different variations. Again, you want to be able to build a sign-up list where people can raise their hand and say, I'm this type of person. I don't really talk about sex with my partner often. I don't talk about, the issues that we have, and everyone has issues. In my opinion, there's something that we want to do differently. We want to switch things up. And so there's always these questions about, am I doing it right? Is this how we should be doing this? I have, something that I'm thinking about, or he or she has something that they're thinking about. So there's all these questions around this, and so you would want to have them self-identify themselves as you can figure out what that looks like and have those options be there. Once you're able to have those options, you can segment out your emails. So if you identify it as, having an issue with this, or you're curious about that, or the level of education where you're at in these things, do you know what quartz is? Do you know what sage is? Do you know all these things? you can then send them emails specifically around that space, and then give them a targeted offer. So that's what you can do. I did notice in Shopify there were a number of discounts, and so maybe you're running some codes. Discount codes are fine; those are great. I would definitely have that in emails, in different things. But I would just say I would caution to not be like a Bed Bath and Beyond. Everyone knows that I'm not going to buy anything unless I have a code, because I know that there's a code somewhere. And so, again, I'm not saying that you're doing it. Just be careful in the way that you do it, so that you can get people to buy without knowing or thinking that there's a code out there. One thing that I mentioned is bundling with different products. So because your pills are the number one seller by far, I think you did mention that you want to be able to find a way to move these other items. So moving the waist beads, and when I talk about move, it's like selling them. So selling the quartz, selling the sage, the beads, the oils. I would take a look at what your margins are, and seeing how much of this can you give away or bundle. And so that's what we're talking about, different campaigns every month. This e-commerce, it's all about campaigns. You want to have something new all the time. And so for 1 month, it might be, hey, for this month, we're bundling the pills with the waist beads, or the quartz, and it's going to be a package with the quartz, the sage, and the waist beads. Maybe you don't do a whole package, like normally would include a bunch of beads and so many quartz. Maybe it's just going to be a sample. Just, you want to be able to get one sale out of folks, because once you get that sale, they're more likely to purchase again. It does you no good if people are just there but not buying. So you want to be able to incentivize people to buy, and one of those ways is to bundle things and increase the value. It's not necessarily increasing the cost or increasing the price, but just being able to create that value. And sometimes people are looking at different products and saying, you know what, I'd like to have this and that, but it's too much for me. If I were to buy all these 3 items, it's going to come out to $25. Whatever it is, you want to be able to take a look at that and see how you can give folks value, and something that they were thinking about before, but didn't quite make that jump to purchase. So that's also, again, how you can push emails, socials, and saying, hey, we have this campaign going on. It's going to fly off the shelf, something like that. One thing that I think is important, kind of similar to that, creating the bundle, is having like samples. So a trial size, a sample size, a travel size also. I don't know if all of these are travel sizes. These might be, and so you want to be able to take a look at, how can I offer folks an easier way to get in and try my products, see that they work, see how they feel. Some folks just don't know, like, if I like sage, is it going to be great? Am I going to like it? And so just giving them a smaller size, a smaller a sample, is all they need to be able to try it out and say, this is great. I don't know why I haven't done this before. It gets them talking to their friends and family. Hey, I bought this product. It actually works pretty good. I like how it feels. So that's this type of stuff that we want to see. So I think that's it. I wanted to have this audit be more of a overall audit on your visibility in the online space and what you're doing. I think there's a lot of value here. There's definitely other things that I could have spent time on, and diving deep into analytics, or diving deep into. Actually, I will do that. I think we had. Where was it? Here we go. So what I did is SEMrush is one of the platforms that I use for brands. It helps me understand the search queries that people are looking for that brand, and helps me understand the level of demand versus where you rank. And so this kind of shows me overall for the site, and I can look at US, worldwide, UK, etc. So the amount of search traffic that you're in. Here we have the organic keywords. So this is really good. This shows me that you're doing really good with the brand. People know about the brand. They want to look for it. The volume, this tells me there's this many people searching for this, which is your brand, this many times a month. So those are averages. So we're talking about 3,500 searches a month for the brand. And then also you have 720 searches a month for this search. And so this is something you want to be able to look at. Yoni Pearls, I believe that's a product that you carry as well. So these are ranking in position 1, which is great. This is an area where we can improve on. We're ranking 33. Let me go into the details to see how hard is it to rank for there. So one thing that my job is to determine, is it worth going in there? Is it going to be hard to, what do we need to do to get ranking? Do we run ads? Do we run a campaign on social? What does that look like? And so there's certain numbers that I take a look at to tell me whether it's worth it or not. So let's see. I saw Yoni Pearls somewhere here. Give me a second. My internet's a little slow, but we'll get through it. Here we go. Okay, so you see for Yoni, you're showing up for all these different searches, and here is where so you do have a product page, as we see here. So this might be worth optimizing to rank. So you're in position, 4, 6, 7, 8. So you're at least on page 1, but you're at the bottom of page 1. This one's really good. Where can I buy Yoni Pearls? You're on the second page, at the bottom of the second page. So it does seem like it's a separate site, it's a separate brand. And so this might be something where you could rank for. I don't know how difficult it would be. Here's where you see KD is keyword difficulty. The lower the number, the easier it is to rank. This is actually interesting. So here we have Yoni Pearls Dynamic Duo. Now, I don't know what that is. Maybe Yoni Pearls has a specific product, a bundle that's a dynamic duo. What you could probably do, because the keyword difficulty is 6. Now, here's where I'm going to blow everyone's mind here, hopefully. Keyword difficulty is 6, so that tells me that it's fairly easy to rank for this search term. The volume is 70, so 70 searches a month for this specific search, exactly like this, Yoni Pearls Dynamic Duo. And you're currently ranking in 8th place. What I would do is on this page, products, Yoni Pearls, I would include a section. Remember how I talked about the sections of, on the product page? Add a section that says Dynamic Duo, or Yoni Pearls Dynamic Duo. And what you want to have on there is a bundling of Yoni Pearls and your other pills that you have. By doing that, you can qualify for the search, because who's to say that it's not a dynamic duo? Of course, when people are searching for Yoni Pearls Dynamic Duo, they might be looking for something else. But this is a way to get in, and for folks who possibly be looking for something else, but when they get to your page say, oh, that is a dynamic duo that I didn't think about or I didn't know about. Let me try them out. So there's an example of something that we do to be able to show up. Here you have Goddess Yoni oil. Not sure if that's specific to your brand. If people are looking for your brand and Yoni oil, you are ranking 28, so that's interesting, and we want to definitely make sure that you should show up. Then you have other information like how do you remove Yoni pearls without string. So this is something that you can have a FAQ section on your page and just answer all of these things. So I'll go ahead and send over this report with the audit. I'll give you all this information and kind of have you look through it. And definitely, if you have any questions, definitely reach out to us. We can help you go through this and optimizing your site. But something like this is what we do all the time, right? We want to be able to see what's the opportunity, and the opportunity here that we see is the volume, right? So many people are searching for these things a month, and what's the level of effort? Level of effort is how much do I have to spend in time and money and effort to be able to get something. So by looking at all these different numbers, we can say and have recommendations and say, based off what we're seeing, we can do this little thing and that'll increase sales. We could do this here and that'll increase sales, or get more people in the top of the funnel, or get things moving. So hopefully this audit helped in understanding what the process that we go through. Like I mentioned, this is just a broad audit. I hope I was able to give a handful of recommendations that are relatively easy to implement. There's definitely other audits we do. SEO audits. We do full in-depth SEO audits. We do paid ads audits, just looking at specifically. So there's different things that we can do. We could spend so much time doing everything in depth, but that is cost associated with that, and there's a lot of time that goes into it. So you can see, just looking at the very surface in these 47 minutes that we spent here, you can see the process that we go through. And that process is in depth as well, going through SEO, paid ads, social media, email, you name it. If there's something in marketing that folks are doing, we can do an audit and see what's wrong. So yeah, hopefully this helps. Thank you. Chat later. This is Digital David G, and with Thumbprint Collective. Thank you.